Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Let us go then, you and I. This is the Absolute podcasting that we call Not the Weekend podcast. You call it what you damn well like.
I like that you were kicking off with a bit of T.S. Eliot. I enjoyed that.
There isn't enough of that.
No.
I think there's a lot on the station itself. There's very little on Absolute 80s.
Yeah.
I've noticed. I think they did a couple of extracts from The Wasteland, read by Gary Newman. But apart from that, there's a shortage. Anyway, I'm Frank Skinner. Sounds like some terrible advert. It reminds me of when I was asked to be the Otterly Botterly man. I turned it down.
No. Didn't fancy it.
No, I
didn't fancy all that trumpet work.
Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the...
No, that's
that's the other one.
That's
Is that
Lurpak.
Country Life?
Lurpak.
Oh, okay.
Country Life.
Oh, he knows his butter ads. Oh, he leapt in there.
No, he's
That's Lurpak.
He's well in with the butters. He lives in the country, though. Do you live in the country?
He lives in a bungalow in Bomo.
But Bournemouth, it's the country, isn't he?
No, it's a town. It's
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up,
sure
Frank.
It's a town, but it's one of those that scrapes in.
Everywhere's surrounded by country.
So, we could start again, but I'm going to carry on. A lot of professional radio people would stop now and say, oh, shall we start again? That all went a bit wrong. But I like to embrace the wrongness, and I like it to be kept forever. So, let's continue. Frank Skinner, Not the Weekend podcast, Emily, Gareth. There's all the ingredients. All we're going to do is whisk it up into a fabulous ragu of comedy and interesting facts. That's all.
That's good. We could whisk ragu. That's fine.
Let me begin with a work offer.
Okay.
I do
Oh,
get...
thank you very much. I'm actually booked up next Saturday.
No, I'm free. I'm really free.
That's a
so
pity.
I'm
I
looking
was
for things.
hoping you'd... I'm doing a silver service dinner at my house, and I was hoping that you'd be the maitre d'.
Oh, I'd be a good maitre d'.
You'd be good in a silver service outfit.
Would I?
Yeah, I think so. Blacks and whites, I think, are very good with you.
Monochrome. Very much my thing.
Yes. If you ever go to an ornithologically themed fancy dress party, I'd go for the magpie.
Oh,
That would
I
be
might
your,
do that.
That would be your look. So, yeah, I can't think of any other black. There's probably other black and white birds, but
Puffins? Could be a puffin.
No, I don't like the orange beak.
No, nice bit of colour blocking.
Oh.
Whoa, get me dropping the fashion phrases,
Yeah,
eh?
I think you've been hanging around with the deputy editor of InStyle
Yes.
magazine a little too long.
Mind you are using colour blocking now that the Queen's doing it, so it is slightly over that moment.
Is the Queen colour blocking?
Yeah, colour blocking, brilliant. I was going to say for England.
I mean, if that gets out that the Queen's colour blocking, is that your government policy?
She needs to go on a course.
She does. I mean, I know she's an old lady. She shouldn't have a say on these things. Anyway, look, I had an offer. I can't tell you what the channel is or whatever, but it was a well-known TV channel, and they want me to spend 8 days. I'm saying 8 days in an African jungle. I don't want to be too specific.
Okay.
With a celebrity, another celebrity, and it's just me and them, no film crew or anything. We have to film each other, and there's no medical people.
No medical people?
And we get...
What, just as a punishment?
Yeah, no hair and makeup.
No, we have to be shaved.
I think we'll just... That's a good question. I suppose we can do our own. I
can
tend to do my own
no
shaving.
hair and makeup. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No one there to do it for you.
I might tear a toucan down from a tree and use its beak as a makeshift cutthroat. So we get training, is the idea, in how to deal with dangerous animals, including shooing away. Well, I'm not sure that's will that work?
Are you not already trained in that? I was
What?
Go on, go off, go on.
I don't think that works with an anaconda, does it, particularly well?
I don't know, what is that? A snake?
Oh, that's a snake.
No,
it's one of my favourite
They
snakes.
won't be shooed. A snake, I've discovered that. They will not be shooed.
sometimes they're shoes, but
But not in our house. Can I make that clear?
Not in my house either, may I make clear.
No, I've got a reptile blocking policy. So I've always, I'll be honest with you, I've always quite fancied my chances against a powerful carnivorous
Why?
beast. I've always
You'd be
thought.
awful.
No, when people are ripped to pieces by lions and tigers, I always think, surely if you got a good grip on that creature, It wouldn't be able to do it.
Frank, it's not Shep.
No. Well, Shep could. I mean,
That was your last experience of wrestling with an animal.
Shep's broken the flesh on me many a time. But obviously I couldn't be properly rough with Shep because I had a great affection for it as my pet. But I mean, you could check its genitals and have vice-like grip. I mean, would any lion be able to withstand that?
Yes.
Because you wrote that Lion song, you think you're in with them now. I don't think they would care.
Oh, he
I don't
does.
think they would care.
Also, you could take a small wooden chair, which, from my circus experience, keeps them at a safe
Can I be
distance.
honest, Frank? You see, I'm just not sure that area is where your talents lie. Don't take offence, but I think it needs someone with a bit of more brawn, maybe. And I just see you in a vest. I don't know. I think no good can come of this, and I think it's an insurance disaster waiting to happen.
You're right. I'm not naturally aligned to a singlet. I think that's true. But I think that's what they want. See, if they just send out big, muscular people, it doesn't look quite so threatening.
So
I mean,
who are you
if you
doing
think
it
about
with,
the
then? You
shows
don't
that have
know.
been successful, do you remember when Joanna Lumley did a sort of wilderness type thing? I mean, no makeup and, that kept the lions at bay.
I think you'll find it was no makeup, but that's another
Was
story.
it no makeup?
Yes.
Well, I didn't spot that. No, but I've never heard of one without a crew or anything to back you up, where it's just, I mean, me...
Are you sure it is a programme, this, Frank?
No, it's a proper programme.
Okay.
It's not just something that Dale Winton has sent to me on the quiet. Fancy 8 days in the jungle, just me and you. I'll do the shoeing.
Wrestling ocelots.
Will there be a film crew or something? Oh, no.
Can you imagine Dale next to a lion going, go on, get lost?
I'll teach you how to shoe. You'll be shoeing all week with Dale.
Eddie?
What?
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
What?
He could. I'm imagining he could hide against a lion.
Oh, he could. Yeah, he could.
That's spray tan, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's not. It won't be. At the moment, they haven't mentioned any. I mean, I'm not at all sure about doing it, but it does. It's done in quite a serious way. It doesn't sound like a cheesy.
Doesn't sound fun.
It sounds like proper grueling survival stuff.
Right.
I worry about who they'll pair you with. I mean, you
Well,
could
that,
be with Nancy
obviously.
Lamb. It could be anyone.
I don't know who that is, but that would keep the lion at bay.
Chinese cook.
Shall the lion lie down with the
You
lamb?
couldn't have her. It's too hot for lamb in the jungle.
Who is Nancy Lamb?
She's a Chinese sort of cook.
cook.
slash,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, she'd be handy. Once I'd. If I could drag an impala to its knees, we could have the head off that in seconds with the toucan beak.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it obviously it makes a big difference who the celebrity is, because you don't want to be with someone who's hateful, and there's plenty of them about. I had a program.
Should we list them?
No, let's not.
Haven't we already on this show?
I've got it
More or
all
less.
day. Most of them are in Emily's address book.
Right back at you.
Exactly. But
None are in mine. Even. Anyway.
I got a programme suggestion, which I thought was quite a clever idea. And it was called Frankie and Johnny. Was
Oh,
the
that's
idea.
good.
And it was a sitcom, but with elements of the real world in it. And the idea was I discovered that I'd done a programme like Who Do You Think You Are?
Right.
And discovered that John Barrowman was a relative of mine.
Right.
And he then tried to sort of impose himself up and wanted to hang around with me all the time. And it was all the embarrassing situations we got into. I'd turn up to a football match and John Barrowman would turn up in a white leather catsuit and a rattle. And it was quite. I don't know if the Barrow Man was ever approached.
Is he attached?
Oh, he does it.
wasn't
He'll do
attached.
it.
I don't know if he was attached. I think that was episode 5.
Frank, his voicemail message is, "Hi, it's John. Leave a message. I'll do it." I reckon it is.
That's a little unkind. I'm actually. I would. If they said to me, "You're in the jungle with the Barrow Man," I might be tempted to do it, because round the log fire at night with him doing songs from the show. I mean, it's a hard nut, like. Or wouldn't it be one of the best things ever? He's a multi-talent. Let's not. I won't have it said that he isn't.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Torchwood fan, so we could play time travel.
That'd be good for making fires.
Exactly. So but it's hard to do these things without looking like you're a bit desperate. Is one
Yeah.
of the things.
I'm a little worried about it, Frank. I won't lie to you.
And I don't know. I mean, they don't keep an eye on you. You go away for 8 days, and then you turn up with the tapes. Anything could if they just
It's
watch
just
the
gonna be
tapes and they
Like the
find
Blair
out.
Witch Project.
You can imagine some producer sitting in a studio, tape 7, Frank cooks and eats John Barrowman. I'm prepared to sacrifice selections from Guys and Dolls just to eat. Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
I bet he'd be good for shoeing away, though.
Who? Barrowman?
Oh, yeah.
He'd be excellent shoer.
Yeah, he would.
Excellent shoeing work. Well, Frank, I can't quite believe that.
Have
but
we heard from the outside world, by the way?
we have. We've had an email in. This is from Suzanne. She says, "Dear Frank, Emily and Gareth, firstly, congrats on your award."
Thank you very much.
You didn't have to read
I'd
that
like
bit
to
out.
thank...
No, but do you know why I'm reading it out?
Why?
She then goes on to say, "Emily loved the outfit, especially the shoes. Fabulous."
How does she know what?
Well, they must have been apparent in some of the photographs, and
What,
they
the-
were very good
The
shoes.
shoes.
I got a lot of comments on the shoes.
Were
It's
the
like Beryl
shoes-
Reid always said, "Start with the shoes," and that's what I did that night.
Al Reid used
No,
to say-
Beryl Reid.
Oh.
Al Reid.
Do you remember Al Reid?
No.
Al Reid was a sort of northern comic when I was a small boy. He used to talk about... He used to sort of do an imitation of women talking over the garden fence. I remember he used to reach inside his shirt to pull his bra strap up, an imaginary bra strap. It's always lived with me.
Al Reid is the man who used to be married to Jordan, I think you'll find.
I don't think that's true, is
No,
it?
Alex Reid. Isn't that his name?
Oh, well,
Anyway.
I thought of that.
To the matter in hand.
He'd be Andy in the jungle.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine him grappling with a wildcat.
No, he's
Wouldn't be
all...
the first time.
To the matter in hand. Susan's words, not mine. On Saturday's show, you mentioned the adult cruise advertised in the paper.
Well, let me clarify this. This wasn't another idea that me and John Barrowman had.
Although...
No, exactly. Yes, we saw an advert in the paper for a cruise which featured Darren Brown and...
Darren Brown
And The Voice.
Russell
yes,
Watson.
Russell
Watson.
Watson.
Off
yeah.
of The Voice, yeah.
And it said that it was an adult cruise, which, I mean, I don't know why. I'm surely children can appreciate Russell Watson and
Darren Brown.
Darren Brown.
No.
I would be suspicious, though, of any cruise, any Darren Brown-based
Yeah, it's
crew.
not going to end well.
Join Darren Brown in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be that. It did
Yeah.
remind me of an advert I saw many years ago for a golfing holiday which said, "Enjoy the Marbella sun with Michael Greco." If that didn't draw people in,
How do you know I already haven't? Okay.
I would not be surprised.
On Saturday's show, you mentioned the adult cruise and advertising in the paper. I had to laugh since my parents were on this boat for 3 months this year on a world cruise.
Wow.
3 months with Russell Watson and Darren Brown.
That doesn't sound too bad.
However, from all accounts, any of the turns you mentioned would have been better. Highlights on their cruise included Chip Hawkes.
I gotta admit, I don't know.
I know. Do you know how I know who that is?
No.
Chesney Hawkes' father.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I think he's from the Tremolos.
Yes, he was. I did.
Oh, he was in the Tremolos.
I believe so.
I googled these
That
people.
changes
I,
everything.
I didn't need to Google, which shows
Yeah.
how old I am.
Oh yeah, the Tremolos.
Chip Hawke.
Chesney's dad, yeah. And Joe Longthorne.
Gypsy Joe. Fabulous. Well, with him, you'll get a joke, you'll get an impression, you'll get a lovely song.
Now, Gareth might not know who Joe Longthorne is. Do you want to familiarise him with his work?
Are you not familiar with Gypsy Joe Longthorne?
I had to Google him as well. I googled both these people, and they've both got websites where music comes on automatically. You know when you click on it.
Well,
which
have
is-
you heard his rendition of You're My World?
I haven't. No.
It's quite something.
What, the Cilla Black?
Yeah, he sings that, Joe
You're
Longthorne.
my world. That one?
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
With a slim microphone.
Of course, held between the tips of two hands, I'm imagining. Like, you know when they hold their hands as if in prayer? Slightly, with a very slim microphone just in the tips. Oh, I love that. Angled slightly down.
Bootcut white trouser. It's like skater fit almost.
Skater fit. I'm not familiar with that
Oh,
term.
I love-
I love the fashion terms. What is skater fit?
Skater fit is as it sounds, really. So when you see a male skater, quite tight round the...
You mean ice skater?
Oh,
Yes,
not like
exactly.
not like a
You know,
skateboarder. Yeah,
I
I
was thinking
assumed like
skateboard.
a bit
Oh, no, I'm
baggy,
sorry, ice skater.
Yeah,
round,
top half of the
low-hanging.
boxers on
Yeah.
show.
No, ice skater fit.
Okay.
Anyway, Chip Hawks we've got. We've got Joe Longthorne. We've also got talks by Michael Howard.
Oh,
Who, of course, has something of the night about him.
military history, that'll be, I reckon.
You reckon?
He's written books about military history, hasn't he?
He says that now. He's Googled it.
No, I have not. No, I know that
The
because
Google-reliant generation.
I did military history for A level.
Are you telling me that someone is sitting on a deck chair now in the middle of the Pacific saying, so what do you think then? Joe Longthorne or military history? You choose. There's something for everybody, isn't there?
And Claire Sweeney's dad.
Claire Sweeney's dad is there.
He was also present.
Does it say what he does?
I
No.
think he talks about, he does a talk with slides about bringing up Claire Sweeney.
Mistakes I've made,
Yeah.
where it all went wrong.
She could well be my accomplice in the jungle. I wouldn't be, she's
Yes.
just the sort of person.
Yes.
I might end up watching The Lion bringing up Claire Sweeney at the end of the night. A mixed blessing, I think you'd agree. Well, although I saw her in Chicago, not the musical.
Oh,
not
how was she?
She was top notch.
Was she?
Yeah, these people, they surprise you. They got their talents are hidden. I mean hidden.
Yeah, she's very sort of Liverpool
Diamonds
talent school.
in impenetrable quartz. As I think Gerard Manley Hopkins said of the poetry of Algernon Swinburne. Oh, yeah. Shouldn't have said that. It was off. It was an off-collar remark. Well, it's a different world, the cruise world. I think I said at the time on the show when we mentioned this subject originally that someone like Darren Brown, Russell Watson, they seem too big to be on a cruise thing. So that they are a special treat.
Whereas, with all due respect, Claire Sweeney's dad seems about right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what for all we know, he might be, the best stage whistler you've ever seen, right up there with Ronnie Ronald. But that's something we can only imagine. He might be a natural shark repellent. They just take with us really is more of a lucky charm than a practical help.
So I know there's a lot of expectation in the air. We're all nervous. We did very well at the Sonys. The radars were good. Now the Forbes top 10 most powerful celebrities has come out.
Oh.
Surely that's going to take more than 5 minutes on Russell Howard to get you in there. Surely, I mean, is it that flexible?
Oh, I don't know. No, we haven't made it.
When I say that, when I intimate that Gareth has had 5 minutes on Russell Howard, I mean his programme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not an attempt. No, 15 minutes.
15 minutes you had. Oh, I'm
It's quite
sorry.
a long time, isn't it?
I've shortchanged you. I undersold it, and you are like John Lewis. I believe you are never knowingly undersold.
Very like John Lewis. If he was a shop, he'd be John Lewis.
Yes.
Do you know, with my upbringing, I am very happy with that. I would have been happy with Marks and Spencer's.
Oh.
So the top 10 most powerful celebrities in the Forbes list are. Shall I go straight in with number one?
Let me guess.
Who do you think?
Arthur Askey.
No.
Is there any sort of? Do you have to be alive?
I think he's dropped out of the top 10.
I see.
What
Frank
sort
Muir.
of powers are we talking about?
I go Frank Muir.
Frank Muir.
Frank Muir. So it's a Bavarian whistle. It's
Jeffrey Chaucer.
oh no, you're being ludicrous.
So I'll do the rundown for the top 10. Top
Well, don't
5.
do them all. Just
No, I
give
went
us a
Elton
hint.
John, number 5.
Okay.
Down from number 7, U2. Up from number 7, U2. Number 3, Justin Bieber.
I'm glad you don't do the chart show. I've always thought that Reggie Yates is the worst presenter in the world, but now I'm thinking that if you took over the chart
dare
show...
you.
Okay, sorry.
But what power does Justin Bieber have power?
Great hair, though.
Oh, yeah, he's got massive power.
Massive hair. Great hair.
Yeah, apparently if he has one of those like a wind farm thing that that generates his entire nervous system.
If he could harness the power, he harnesses the power of his fans.
Have you seen his harness? I mean, I wouldn't be able to get into it, but apparently, if he doesn't wear it, his intestine can drop 8 to 10 inches at one go.
Well, something's got to drop at some point.
Well, we're all waiting.
Justin Bieber's harness. He does have he is a cultural architect, though, I would
Is he?
argue.
Is he an opinion
What has he
former?
built?
Well, exactly, he's built opinions.
Anyway, who else?
The big news is that Oprah Winfrey has fallen to number 2. She has been the most
That's
powerful
bad.
celebrity for a long time.
Yes, well, yeah. But I think she's... does she still do her show, or is she...
No, well,
She's just finishing it.
She's
Oh, well,
just
there you
done
go.
the big-
That's going to... we've all had that moment when 1 minute you're on telly, every 5 minutes, next minute you're nowhere.
I think she's going into producing and stuff.
Yeah, sure, that's what I said.
And number 1, Lady Gaga.
Oh.
Of course.
Oh, it sounds so matter-of-fact
Yeah, I didn't
about
know it
it.
was based on a sort of fancy dress scale.
Thanks.
This is a celebrity almost entirely based on fancy dress. It is, though, isn't it? It might as well be
It's true.
Christopher Biggins in his dame outfit. Why is it the papers fall for that every time? If I suddenly started only going out in a blue crushed velvet catsuit split to the waist and orange sneakers, I'd get 7 or 8 photographs in the paper.
I think you would.
Yeah.
7 or 8,
Yeah.
maybe 1.
No,
On the bizarre page.
They love a ludicrous costume, but
Oh, that's true.
I won't lower
You
myself.
won't pander to it.
I won't.
Stick to the
I will
hoodies.
wear a panda costume if it comes to it. You could look good in a panda costume.
Oh, I'd like that.
Black and white, that's you.
Mo-
I'm suggesting that you might get to a nunnery. No, I'm not happy with the Gaga.
I find it interesting the people who are, the fickle nature of fame and who's on the up and who's on the way down. One of my predictions, I've got some predictions. I think Pauline Quirke on the
Got
way
some
up.
predictions.
Pauline Quirke on the way up. Is that
Yes.
because the stage show Birds of a Feather is
Yes.
touring? Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
I think that's going to be really good for her.
Do you think that's going to be a massive hit?
I think so.
She was at my drama school.
Was
Just putting
she?
that out there, yeah. Something of a mentor for me, she was.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, she's a dinner lady. I like Pauline. Pauline Quirke has been on telly as long as I can remember.
No, she was good, and she did kind of quite a serious acting. She had a serious acting phase where she played killers and things.
She briefly had a chat show
Did
called
she?
Pauline's People, briefly
she?
in the early 80s,
Oh,
yeah.
they should have had something to do with quirkiness.
No, there was a kids' show called Pauline's Quirks.
Really?
So they got that one out of the way very early.
Excellent.
And I like that.
What did that involve?
Who's the lady?
That's suitable for children.
Yeah, I don't know what her quirks actually were. I think she had. She used to kill mice with her bare hands.
Multiple personality disorders, I heard.
Yeah, she'd
Pauline's Quirks.
She'd have a mouse in each palm, and she'd squeeze them, and there'd be some high-pitched screaming, and then silence, and then the sound of eyes leaving tiny sockets.
And then nothingness.
Yeah, I mean, some call that a quirk. I'd call that out-and-out cruelty. Anyway, so that's your tip for the top, is Pauline Quirke. It's your finger on the pulse topicality that makes this show what it is.
I think Prince Harry's going down.
We can't be certain of that. Certainly, actually...
I just think he's going to go off the rails.
Dear.
I think it's a lot of pressure on him now
Yeah.
to have a big wedding.
I think at
he's
the
gonna
moment,
handle
I
it
think
very-
William has edged ahead of him, certainly. What about Pippa, though?
Well, yes.
She's very on the... I saw someone describe her as P. Midi.
Yes, P. Midi she is now.
Yeah, so that, I mean, she's really sort of arrived. And all this
she's
stuff
very
about her bottom. I've looked at the footage of that. I can't see anything special about it.
Well, don't look at me. It's up to you two to make the judgment.
No,
That's how society works,
I
isn't
did
it?
think it was Kate's day. I know people
Exactly.
said...
I don't like
Pippa
people
overshadowed
trying to
her-
upstage them. I
overshadowed
remember
her.
when Freddie Truman's daughter
Yes, Raquel
married
Welch.
Raquel Welch's son, and Raquel Welch turned up like an hour late and stole the attention. Freddie Truman was absolutely furious. The one delivery he bounced at her was right up round the Adam's apple. He could have killed her. Now then.
I like your late 80s gossip. Freddie Truman was furious.
Exactly. Now we've gone topical with Pauline Quirke on the way up. I've come up with my latest Freddie Truman hot gossip. So who do I think's on the way up on this basis? Rusty Lee, probably. She's...
I mean, it's still hard to tell.
And
but
Paul Daniels, because his toupee his wig sold for £1,100 on eBay earlier this year.
Yeah, I remember. I'll tell you something about Rusty Lee. That it is strange that she just missed the sort of the time when cooks became sort of the big superstars. She was just before that. It's very bad luck on her part.
Do you think it was bad luck? Do you think it genuinely would have happened to her? Can you see her being a Gordon Ramsay figure?
No, like Jamie Oliver changing the governmental systems.
I don't know if Rusty had that in her.
Oh, can you imagine that Rusty's dream school? I don't know if you've ever seen her jerk chicken, but it's a sight. It's a sight for sore eyes. I've never seen a poultry smile before. Well, not so much smile, but there's a look of contentment in just above the beak. Of course, there was a rumour that she saw the way forward was going to be for the male chef, and that the female chef was going to be sidelined.
Oh.
And apparently, she became Ainsley Harriott. That was one that was one rumour I heard. I mean,
it does explain a few things.
Well, they're equally vivacious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked with Rusty on a couple of occasions.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, we were asphalting a roof in Sparkbrook in Birmingham. This was during when her career was in something of a dip. No, we.
Sorry, could you be more specific?
She was on fantasy football because she's a big Leicester City supporter. And in fact,
I think she was when she was asked to be on fantasy football. She hurriedly found a team.
There was a lot of that about. She came on while Jonah Louis sang "You'll Always Find Me in the Kitchen at Party." And then I did a charity show in Birmingham at the Royal Symphony Hall when she came on with what you'd call a jazz band. And sang the lead vocals on it.
What you'd call a jazz band?
Well, you know, we got a big jazz following on this show, as you know. Jamie Cullum is a regular listener.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hello, Jamie.
Hiya, Jamie, if you're listening. Just like to keep him on our side. So I know Rusty of old. And I think it's a shame that... Anyway, that's my prediction to replace Gaga.
Well, we'll see next year's Forbes list.
Yeah.
And what about Imogen?
Imogen, I think she's on the up.
She's become a pioneer of freedom of speech.
If this injunction can just hold...
Yeah, I think she could become a sort of an Obama figure.
See, this array of celebrities depresses me, though, because it's not like... I hate to sound, in the good old days, but when I was growing up, there were better role models out there, Frank, I'm afraid. I think there were.
Yeah.
Such as?
Well, I did. I had a thing where I decided, I liked him so much, I wanted my father. I used to fantasise that he was my dad, Barry Norman. I don't know. Yeah, I fantasised he was my dad.
Well, you'd be rolling in pickled onions then. But he's got his own brand of pickled onions.
But I think I picked him because I thought, he looks like he's quite intelligent, and we might be able to get tables at restaurants.
Yeah, yeah.
But
seats at the cinema, certainly.
Seats at the cinema, exactly. But it's not out of the realms of possibility.
But wouldn't there be fish and chip restaurants? Once you nail your collars to the pickled onion mast, it's not going to be like you're at the Ivy, is it? It's going to be Harry Ramsden's.
But I thought people wouldn't think I was lying if I said it. I did once say he was my dad when I was quite young.
Really?
Well, what I said was...
Why would you lie?
Well, I don't know. I said my name was Emily Norman. And then I thought they'd go, "Oh, you Barry Norman's daughter," and they didn't.
No.
So they just always thought I was called Emily Norman.
So you kept that going for a while?
Well, no, I only met this person on a few times, but I thought, oh no, this is awful. I was quite young, I was about 10 years old, and I said, "Oh, Emily Norman." And I just thought he was so famous that I thought they'd say, "Oh, you Barry Norman's daughter," and they never did. So I just became Emily Norman.
My cousin, when he was at school, they said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said an Eskimo or a Norman.
Did he?
But he meant the historical figures.
You wanted to grow up to be a Norman? Well, an Eskimo sure is an ethnic. I mean, you can't just grow into it.
No.
Got to be... Well,
Who did you want as a dad? Did you ever have that thing of...
Oh, yeah. I think Elton John would be my... I'd like to find out that I am Elton John's love child, mothered by Renata. You remember he was married to Renata? Wouldn't it be great? Can you imagine Elton John's consternation if I turned up at his villa in Nice and said, "Elton, I've got some papers here. I know this is a bit embarrassing, but you're my dad. You all right with that?"
I think he'd be a wonderful father.
Can you imagine?
He would well up. Come here, Frank.
Do you think?
Yeah. Big hug.
He's not sure about... I met him once. He's very friendly to me, and then I did a sketch about him on the show, and the next time...
Oh, did he turn?
Next time, he literally turned. I walked up to him, and he literally turned his back on me.
He didn't.
He did, yeah.
Well, the children nowadays aren't grateful.
No, it was a difficult... Yeah, but imagine beanies. I don't want to be at the villa saying, Dad! Will you stop the Scissor Sisters going in my room when I'm not here? Would I be allowed to call David Furnish Mum? Would that be acceptable?
I think he'd be fine with that.
Yeah, he's actually a very nice chap, David.
I like them. I like mother figures. I would like Mary Portas to be.
I like mother figures.
Are you doing a rap? Yeah, I really like them mother figures coming around my house now.
No, Mary Portas would be a great mum.
Mary Portas.
Mary Queen of Shops.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Mary,
I'm not familiar with
Oh,
her.
you do know
I was
her.
thinking it was that Irish singer off the X Factor.
Mary
No, she's
Burke.
got the
Oh,
sort
I
of
couldn't
geometric,
a torch
red
song
ball.
every night. Can you imagine it?
Yeah.
No,
Singing
I'm
it
not.
too
I'm
hard.
not familiar with Mary Portas.
And also the late. You might not know this one either, but the manager, who's the main manager of the model agency.
Oh, you're getting very specific now.
Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks.
No, not
The woman with the blonde
not America's
hair.
Next Top Model. The
This is who you want as your mother. Someone who is.
I mean, I'm happy with my current mother.
Oh, we're not
Don't get me
suggesting
wrong.
for 1 second that you aren't. I mean, neglect isn't final, I always say.
Or Snow White would be a good mum. I've got to get into Disneyland somehow.
Can I briefly fess up? I also quite wanted Noel Edmonds to be my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
'Cause I used to watch
that's
Swap
because of
Shop.
Noel's Christmas presents. That's what that is. Think, whoa, imagine Christmas.
They didn't have that in our day, darling. We barely had telly. That was on Multicoloured Swap Shop. And I just thought he looked really friendly and he had a nice beard. And I thought he'd be funny. I thought he was quite funny.
Yeah. No, I never fantasised about Noel Edmonds being my father. I think I can honestly say that hand on heart.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.